day! In the video today, we will be looking at the first cartoon appearance of some classic Batman characters, such as Mr. Freeze, Alfred Pennyworth, and Chief O'Hara. So, alright, let's go!
Yeah! So, we start off in the summertime, where some crazy hooligan is freezing all of the water in Gotham City with a freeze gun. I guess on one hand it kinda helps with the heat, of the summer. But on the other hand, this guy is acting like a cold-hearted jerk. But of course, Batman and Robin know exactly who this frozen fiend is. Would be none other than Mr. Freeze. So the dynamic duo confront the Popsicle Man at the Gotham Aquarium. But sadly, they're too late. Mr. Freeze and his goons already stole a whale.
What? They stole a whale?
They froze the thing like a whalesicle and then lifted it out of there with a helicopter. Wow, that came out of left field, but holy crap, that's awesome. I thought I was watching Batman, but apparently I'm watching Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home. Also, Mr. Freeze has demands for Gotham City. He demands $1 billion in gold to be delivered within 24 hours, or else he will freeze the rest of the city. Damn, that's pretty hardcore. But one slight problem, Gotham City doesn't have that kind of money. Like we're talking $1 billion in 1968. That's actually quite a bit of cold hard cash. But it's all good because Batman has a plan. He, disguised as Bruce Wayne, will take 100% of Wayne Enterprises' wealth and turn it into gold bullion to pony up for the ransom for Mr. Freeze, where he will... Oh, wait a second. You're telling me that Wayne Enterprises has more money than Gotham City? Really, hey? Geez, that is crazy. What the hell kind of product does Wayne Enterprises sell? Jeez. Not only that, you're telling me that the city can't pwn up any money to kind of maybe help Wayne Enterprises out, potentially not losing all of their money? No? Okay. Meanwhile, even though Batman has a plan to capture Mr. Freeze during the gold handoff, Mr. Freeze has plans of his own. He freezes and birdnaps Robin, so Batman has to give chase to get his buddy back. But with Batsy and Birdbrain away from the gold bullion, well, Mr. Freeze and his crew sail away with all the gold. Holy bankruptcy, Batman! Wayne Enterprises is screwed! So like a man possessed, Batman gets the Batboat to give chase. But the horror! The freighter with the gold explodes and sinks to the bottom of Gotham Harbor. Oh boy, Batman, you've really done it now. Later on. So that whale that Mr. Freeze kidnapped earlier, turns out it's a gold-sniffing whale. Oh man, that's fantastic. I don't even know what to say. But the whale leads Mr. Freeze in his submarine to exactly where the gold is at the bottom of the harbor. That sounds ridiculous, but apparently it's legitimate. The Bat computer gives Batman some information on that specific whale. Turns out this whale is a government agent, and he was used in government sonic experiments to locate sunken gold in the oceans. I need a moment here really quick just to wrap my brain around this. Hey, holy jeez. Okay, I'm back. So, how do you stop a Freeze-themed villain with a pet whale? You start a crime spree of your own, of course. Batman, Robin, and Alfred start looting Gotham City because, well, why not? Well, mostly it's to lure out Mr. Freeze. Make him think that they turned to crime. But how will the plan work? Well, after Batman and Robin stole a bunch of gold from the US Mint, Mr. Freeze figures, hey, you guys are bad guys now. Let's join all of our gold together. Which works out perfectly because now Batman and Robin know exactly where all of the Wayne Enterprise gold is. But Mr. Freeze is not convinced of Batman and Robin's turn to the dark side. No! So he resorts to straight up attempted murder by turning Batman and Robin into ice cubes. Holy Margaritaville, Batman! But fret not, because things will work out for the dynamic duo. Of course, they break out of the ice trap, they defeat Mr. Freeze, they get all of the gold back, and they retrieve the kidnapped whale! Yay! Back into captivity for you, Free Willy! But with all that stuff, the day is saved! Hooray! With all of those loose ends tied up, that is the end of this chilling tale.
Like, that was a decent episode, eh? I didn't really know what to think about all that whale stuff, man. Like, it totally threw me for a loop. Who steals a whale? Hey, like, holy crap. Even though it kind of made sense in the story that they created, man. Like, it still kind of doesn't make sense. To be fair to the whale, it actually needed some sort of attachment, attached to it to help it find the gold. But even still, man, like, what? In doing a little bit of research on gold, I did find out that sperm whale vomit is actually pretty valuable. It's even called floating gold. Don't think a sick whale would have made a pretty good Batman episode, so I guess it's a pretty good thing that they went with this. Even though everything in this episode was crazy, there was one thing that didn't make sense. So Batman, Robin, and Alfred go on a fake crime spree. But the police don't know it's fake. And from their point of view, it's like, wow, Batman, Robin, and Bruce Wayne's butler are going on a crime spree. And they might think, what the hell does Bruce Wayne's butler have to do with Batman and Robin? So from that perspective, it's like, yeah, like, is there a connection between Alfred and Batman and Robin? We should look into this. Especially seeing as Batman and Robin helped Alfred get away with stealing some jewels. Like, jeez. Also, like, in what sane world would the entire board of Wayne Enterprises agree to give all of their wealth to a supervillain? Like, the odds that that money would be gone, everyone at the company would lose their job, everyone who was investing in that company would lose their money. Like, it's horrible all the way around. I don't care if Batman said it was a good idea, man. It's really not. But all in all, like, this Filmation Batman series is pretty good. You know, like, this episode highlights there is some really weird, insane things happening in it. But even with that, it's still pretty entertaining. And with that, we do have some more behind-the-scenes things with all these characters and whatnot over here.
So, yes indeed, Mr. Freeze, Alfred Pennyworth, and Chief O'Hara. All three of these characters first appeared in their cartoon version in this episode. So let's talk a little bit about each of these characters, but firstly, we will start off with the main character, Mr. Freeze. So, Mr. Freeze first appeared in Batman number 121 in 1959. He was a random crime boss who was working on an experimental weapon, the ice gun, when, wouldn't you know it, something went wrong. And that something being the cryogenic chemicals for the weapon accidentally spilled upon the guy and changed his body permanently. His body temperature has dropped to below zero, which is now his new natural body temperature. He cannot survive in our mild climate. He had to build a sub-zero suit with an internal temperature to that of his new body heat. Well, body cold? Ugh. Yeah, that was a stretch, sorry. And this change helped him in his criminal activities because now he has all this freezing weapon stuff. So he originally went by the villainous name Mr. Zero. But when this character first debuted on television in the classic Adam West Batman show, the producers of that show changed his name from Mr. Zero to Mr. Freeze, because it makes so much more sense that the comic book version of the character did change his name to Mr. Freeze as well. And also kind of, I guess, a fun fact, in that Batman show, there were 3 different characters who portrayed Mr. Freeze. We had George Sanders, Eli Walsh, and Otto Preminger. So the version of Mr. Freeze in this cartoon series is based a bit more on Otto Preminger, right? I guess especially being bald and that suit and the sophistication behind him, I guess, you know, is definitely more like that guy. Also, we eventually learned that the character's real name is Victor Freeze, spelled F-R-I-E-S like fries, but it's pronounced Freeze. His last name is Freeze and he became a Freeze-themed villain. Huh, it's like Destiny or something. But with all that, we're caught up with the character's history up until the point of this featured episode. But if you're living nowadays and you know anything about the character, well, his background is a little different, and that all changed with the TV show Batman, the Animated Series. So when the character made his series debut in the episode Heart of Ice, well, a bunch of his backstory was actually changed. He was a scientist who was working on experiments to save his terminally ill wife, Nora, and he had to cryogenically freeze her. He lost funding to these experiments and his lab was destroyed, which in turn turned him into Mr. Freeze. So all the bank robbing and stuff he does is not because he's a super villain, it's because he's still trying to fund experiments to save his wife. But this background change was so fantastic and so well received by fans that even in the comic books, they changed his backstory to match that of this Batman Animated Series episode. So that's all the basics on that character. Let's shift our focus to Alfred Pennyworth, even though it was a quick cameo appearance in this featured episode. So Alfred himself first appeared in the 1943 Batman movie serial. You know, the TV shows before TV existed, you had to go to the theater to watch a show, which is kind of funny. One of those classic characters who started outside of the comics before being incorporated into the comics. And his comic incorporation happened in Batman number 16 in 1944. So he was known originally as Alfred Beagle, some guy who just showed up at Wayne Manor and said, "Hey, I'm here to work for you, man." But he was working for the Wayne family because he promised his father, Jarvis, that he would carry on his work. Jarvis, of course, being the previous butler to the Wayne family. We will also learn that Alfred is not just some random butler guy. He is in fact a retired intelligence agent with British Special Forces. His spy backstory was really fleshed out in Detective Comics number 501 in 1981, with Alfred and Lucius Fox, telling their tale of being in the French Resistance in World War II. Wild! Also, we learned that his real last name is Pennyworth, not Beagle. Beagle was kind of a cover. And finally, with Chief O'Hara being in this episode, well, very briefly anyway. So Chief O'Hara first appeared outside of the Batman comic books, but on the Batman TV show. And because this cartoon is kind of based on that Batman show, of course you have to incorporate that character. Works out pretty good. And he was also incorporated into the comics, making his first appearance in World's Finest, number 159 in 1966, and was sparsely used in comics ever since then. But yes indeed, for these three characters, you're all caught up on them for now, and that's pretty much all I got for stuff on this episode, so yeah. So with this set, those and the other things, I guess let's buy it. Also, if you guys are interested, I created my own superhero show, and I have the first episode out already. The Adventures of the Density. So if you guys would like to check it out, I'll have a link above here and a link at the end of the video for you to peruse there. Yeah, right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, feel free to do so. Or anything else, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, have a great day. Thanks.